Mm. All right. Hey, Justin, good to see you here. Thanks for grabbing some time with me and just sharing about your experience coming out to Omaha.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So if you would like just kind of talk to me about if you hadn't did you have any apprehension about taking, with travel plus overnight and spending the day together? I mean, it's 2 or 3 full days out of your already demanding schedule and being away from your kids, coming to Omaha. Were there any doubts or apprehensions about doing that, or even just doubts and the impact that it would have to be able to come out there for just a single day?
I think when you mentioned it during our planning, I was interested in doing it. I committed to it, right? I put it on the calendar and made it happen. But I would say that, you know, as it became closer, I was like, is this really going to make that much of a difference? But then I kept telling myself, well, in person, you've done this before and had an impact on others, and so I just decided to commit to it and do it. And so I'm obviously very happy that I did, and it was very much more transformational than I had imagined. So yeah, I mean, but there was some apprehension of like, okay, is this worth my time? I knew it was worth the relationship with you. That's one reason I did it. Also, was to be able to connect with you and not just only over Zoom. So
Yeah.
that's another specific reason that I did it. But once I did it, I found out it was much more impactful than just visiting with you.
I'm glad it was. I know my just being my presence is fantastic in of itself, but it is true. Like there is an element. I've done a lot of these with clients, either one-offs or existing clients, and it does so much to further the relationship to just spend that time together and have it unhurried and not just over Zoom. But I get that. I mean, I actually myself. Um, Oh, it's been probably 3 years. I invested, I think it was $15,000. I flew out to, expenses on me too, right? Hotel, airline, plus the 15K to go spend a full day with somebody in Austin, Texas. And I was really, I mean, that's more money than I've ever spent for a single day with somebody. And I'm just apprehensive about like, well, am I really going to get what I want out of this? Is it really going to be as transformational as I'm hoping it would be? Is it really going to be worth it? Or am I going to like go back home and feel like I just wasted all that time and money? Um, Talk about what changed for you in your life and business as a result of coming to Omaha.
Yeah, for me, it was the transformation was, I mean, number one, it was right timing events in my life that came to a closure. So, um, that, that helped with the timing of my situation and being able to, um, really, take in what I wanted to see in the future and get clarity around. And so my transformation was basically, hey, the exercises that we went through, the places we went, and being able to almost not just experience that, but also reflect on it today and be able to like, okay, that was what I left behind. This is what I'm moving forward. I in my mind a lot of times like when we went through an exercise and like, hey, you lost your tiger, right? So in my mind, a lot of times I'm like, okay, is that still serving me? Am I using my tiger in the way that I want to? And so being able to reflect and have that transformation of okay, this is what I've learned through the past. These are the things that I want to move forward with. These are the things that are going to serve me. And here's a few things that I want to leave behind that. And it's not like it's a perfect world, right? But just having the awareness of like, hey, I don't want to be angry over this. I don't want to like think about this all the time. I don't want to use energy to for this. And so that was the big piece for me is to really focus on the now and the future and what that looks like compared to living in the past and having things that hold me back, that were holding me back for a long time, as much as even I would fight through them.
Yeah, I mean that's and if anyone's like watching this, like the lost is tiger, like Justin doesn't actually own a tiger, right? But like the energy, like what he's talking about is this energy, right? Like who he was, who he is like he's always been kind of a tiger about the way he approaches business and life, and been intense and in a positive way. That he lost that sense of intensity and prowess, right, of a tiger, and that winning mentality in his eyes that had kind of dimmed over the course of time through a handful of situations in life and business that had kind of slowly, contorted him and beaten him down into a smaller version of really who he is. And so like recapturing that again, and we all have these subconscious beliefs, these subconscious habits, things that patterns of thinking that keep us trapped in a life that's less than the life that we're designed to live. Whether it's in business or it's in relationships or it's and just our own like internal world. And so we can be aware at some level of those things, but when the subconscious parts of our life are running our life, or it's the stuff in our head, spending more time trying to fix it through uh, talking it out, mental exercises, like it's not going to fix it. If we want to create change and transformation in our life, we need to move from the mental to the physical, where we actually feel it in our body. And these experiences that Justin's talking about, like going through different places together and having experiences to viscerally have some shifts in our body and internally, not just mentally, and to latch back onto after the experience is one of the things I think that makes that time together so powerful. So it's not just this like mental thing where we're not sitting in a room with a light bulb and just talking for 8 hours, right? It's going out and having experiences and then talking through those experiences and how these apply to our world and what we want and what we don't want in our life. Anything else you want to add to that, Justin, or should I move on?
No, let's go ahead.
Yeah. Um, What would you say like is different in your world today as a result of spending that time together in Omaha? And what do you anticipate that long-term impact being?
Yeah, I think clarity would be the word that I would have, is being able to be clear on my life, on the next steps, and what, like I said, serves me and who I am. And I I think that was as I look back, that's one of the biggest things that I keep comes to mind to me, is the clarity that I have and where I can go, because I was just, as you know, going through some challenges, and having that just mess my clarity up often, right? And so when I look back, it's I remember the impact, one of the exercises when we visited a graveyard, and just thinking about legacy and thinking about walking around and looking at the graves and the dates and the ages and just taking that in. um is I mean, all those people out there were sitting in a house at some point, right? Like, we're all gonna pass, and what do we want that legacy to look like? What do we want our dash to look like? What difference do we want to make? And that really hit home with me, is just writing down, what do you want on your headstone? What do you want that impact to be? And that's something, that experience is something I've never officially done. I'll be honest, when I have a graveyard on my farm, right? Like right outside of my farm, and I drive by it, and I've thought about that. Like, but to actually focus in on it and like do an exercise around that, and really spend some time thinking about it and writing it down, that was a different level of it. Just, it brought back, like, it made you step back from life and look at like your whole life. And that's powerful. Sometimes we get caught up in the weeds, or a lot of us do every day, and we don't take enough time to step back and look at, okay, this is the dash. Is that a really big deal?
Mhm.
We all have struggles. I know I do, but a lot of times I'll step back and just say, hey, that's not that big of a deal. And I do a better job of handling that when my mindset is looking at that legacy, right? Like this is just a little bitty, I can't let this own my emotions, own my, what my activities because something went wrong. Like I need to focus on, hey, the positive and the legacy and the dash. So that's my just some thoughts offhand.
Yeah, I think what you think you make a good point of, and I struggle with this too. But like, it's hard when you're kind of a hard driving individual, and you like to be productive and get stuff done, and like we fill our life with a lot of things, and a lot of the stuff, most of it's really good. It's good stuff. It's all good things, right? Business and family and trips and all these different things, but it's not often that we'll slow down enough to create the space necessary to really ask pointed, difficult, bigger picture, and sometimes seemingly simplistic questions that we think about on the periphery throughout our day, but we don't actually like sit with. And so having that space and time that's dedicated just for you, your development as a leader, as a father, as a husband, spiritually, whatever it might be, like as a person, to take that time away and phones off, and we're just working through some most important things of gaining that clarity, like you said earlier, about the future and what you want and what you don't want. Um, how long? I'm kind of curious because we typically you and I typically have like a 90-minute session once a month, working together in our coaching. How many months would you anticipate it would take us in those 90-minute Zoom sessions to have accomplished what we accomplished in one day in Omaha?
Well, I don't think it's the same. I don't think you can compare it because I do think it's the experience and the location, and I don't think you can replicate the Zoom call compared to actually being there. Um, it's just two different experiences, right? It's
Mhm.
a feel what you feel, what you um the places you see, the activities that you do. I mean, you could ask me some of those same questions that you asked me in person. They're going to hit totally different, right? They're not going to be near as impactful, I don't think, because of the environment that I was in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I think, so I don't think you could compare the two. I think one's much more powerful than a Zoom call. Don't get me wrong, Zoom calls, are good. They're convenient. They're, um, it's convenient, it's easy, and they are impactful. But I
uh-huh.
don't believe that they have the same intensity of impact that an in-person um, situation is. Period.
Yeah, it's a good point. Sorry, they were having a thunderstorm here, and my dog is. Can you see her?
Yeah.
She's terrified of thunder, hates it.
Oh
So this is
yeah.
like the safest place for her. Is like I'm safe in my lap, I guess. Uh, last question for you, man. What advice would you give to someone who's looking at potentially investing that time and energy and finances and coming to spend a full day with me?
Yeah, I think my advice is just do it, right? Invest in yourself. How much is your piece worth? How much is, it's not just you're investing in you, and you're the biggest investment that you can make. And so if you're holding back and if you're on the edge, then you just need to take the action, right? This is something that you're obviously considering if you're listening to this or speaking with Jason around this experience. And my encouragement is just do it, right? It's going to make a difference. And I would encourage you to go into it. I think you felt this. I was very open-minded going into it. I was there to learn and grow. Like I wasn't skeptic. I was like, Jason, you're in control, right? Like direct me, right? Because honestly, a lot of the people that you work with are controlling their lives every day. They're
Uh-huh.
control people, right? They run businesses, organizations. And for me, it was like, hey, I don't know what the heck exactly what I'm getting into, but I'm okay with uncomfortable
Mhm.
because when I'm uncomfortable, I have to embrace that because that's really where growth comes from. And you know, and I've been uncomfortable a lot with, I started coaching and doing different things. And I look back and every time I felt that uncomfortableness, I
Mhm.
also have received growth from that. And so I would just say if it's something you're serious about your growth, you're serious about personal development, then bet on yourself. Like it's most people that you're working with, this isn't probably if they do this, it's probably not financially going to break them, right?
Mhm.
If it doesn't financially break you, then do it. Because you're investing in yourself and it's going to be an experience like you probably never experienced unless you've done this type of thing before. So that would be my piece of advice is uh, just take action and do it.
No, that's great, man. Yeah, as you're talking, I picture we all have it. I do too. Of this, like, this is my comfort zone here. And so a growth, right, is always just outside of it, and which requires us to stretch ourselves, to challenge ourselves, to do something that's uncomfortable. And if we're at the edge of it, we came to the edge for a reason. We came to the edge because we know that we want to get to the other side and create something different than what we have right now. But like you said, it takes deciding to take that action and that uncomfortable step to do it, whether it's with me or it's something else, doesn't matter. It's about pursuing growth and investing in the number one asset we have to those around us, which is how we grow ourselves.
Well, and I think if you don't step back and work on yourself and work on the business, and you are the business, like you're in the grind too much. And that's what I find a lot of my coaching is, these people are head down and they're not uncomfortable because they're doing the same things they've done forever. And so
Yeah.
they're not even taking time to realize to be uncomfortable, right? So I think I would encourage anybody to step out if you're running a business to step out of the grind, spend money on yourself, work on yourself, and you'll have a different lens.
Yeah, man, slowing down is actually the hardest. That's the most uncomfortable thing that a high achiever or higher driver can do. And
Yeah, it's still hard for me. Like, um, if I'm not busy, then I'm like, okay, why am I? I'm looking to be busy, right? Like,
yeah,
I have all these things in line. What else can I add to the plate? Right?
right.
Like, well, no, wait a minute. I got a lot of plates spinning here. I don't need to, I don't need to add. I don't need to add. I'm good with just need to be thinking, right?
Yeah,
So, anyways, yeah,
yeah.
that's
Well, thanks, man. Enjoyed our conversation. Thanks for sharing your experience, and you're an absolute pleasure to work with, man. It's been a really enjoyable ride, and I look forward to supporting you, well into the future.
same. Thank you.
All right, have a good rest of your day, brother. We'll see ya.
All right. See ya.
Bye bye.